Hi friends, we've just learned a little bit about the art of weaving and how important it is in so many different civilizations. From ancient civilizations to modern times, people still do the art of weaving. And we also learned that the early American colonists, it was a very important skill to learn how to weave because they had to make their own cloth, blankets, baskets, and things like that that required being able to know how to weave. So today I'm going to teach you how to weave. There's different kinds of looms. A loom is the thing that you weave on. There can be square looms. There can be like rectangular looms. And there's even circle looms. And today we're going to be using a circle loom, like this one. Kind of looks like a wheel with spokes, doesn't it? So the project we're going to be making are these beautiful circle loom weaving projects, and you get to choose what colors you'd like to use. Here's another one. All right, I'm going to show you how to begin, so we'll get right to it. Okay friends, the first thing we're going to do is get our paper plate. I chose a black plate because I think the colors look really great against the black background. So I'm going to turn this plate over, and I have this little pattern that I can mark where I need to cut. So I'm just going to lay this on the back, and where each of these little black lines is, I'm just going to make a mark out to the edge. So I'll know that's where I need to cut. Okay, one very important thing to remember when you're making a loom is always have an odd number of cuts in your loom. Like, it has to be an odd number for it to turn out to look really nice. If you do an even number, you're gonna have these strings that show on the top of your loom. Like, all the strings that go to the center will show up. They won't be covered, but if you do an odd number, the strings will all be covered. So always remember to do an odd number. Okay friends, there are two parts of our loom. There's the strings that go this direction, like the spokes on the wheel on this one. Those strings are called the warp, and then there's going to be a string that's going to weave in and out of these, and it's going to be going around this direction, in, over, under, over, under. That string that's coming around this way is called the weft, the warp and the weft. What are they called? This one is warp is right, and this one that you weave through is called the weft, W-E-F-T. All right, so we're gonna make the warp strings first. And to do that, you have your cuts in your plate. You need about 2 yards of yarn to do the warp, and 2 yards. 1 yard is 36 inches, so 2 is how many inches? 36 plus 36. If you said 72, you're right. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick the string through the slit. On the back of my plate, I'm just going to put a piece of tape on it to hold it in place. And then, I'm going to tell you this right now, if you keep going across your plate like this, you're going to run out of yarn. So the first time you go straight across to the next slit on the opposite side, but then instead of going back over, you're going to just go next door. You're going to go to the next door slit, and then you're going to go across. And don't go across the back like this. If you go across the back like this, you're going to use up your yarn way too fast. So you're going to go, hey neighbor, knock knock, I'm coming over. Go to the neighbor, go in their door, go across. Go to the neighbor, go in their door, go across. Turn your plate as you go. Hello neighbor, go in their door, go across. Go to the neighbor, go across. Go to the neighbor, go across. And I think you got it. All right, I have a lot of yarn left on this one, but that's okay. I'm just gonna cut off my extra. Just wanna make sure you always have enough. Then what I'm going to do is go right in the middle. I'm gonna kind of pull all these pieces together, pinch them. I'm gonna put this yarn over the pinch and underneath. And then I'm gonna tie a knot in it. So I'm just gonna make a loop right here. See this loop? Put it through. And I'm gonna pull it tight. And then you can kind of center it like that. So now it's all tight in the middle. Pull it really tight. I'm gonna tie it one more time. I'm gonna put it through this, under this string, and pull it one more time so it has a nice knot right in the middle. So it's all done. It's solid in place. It's not moving. Then you can trim this little piece off. Now we can start weaving. So to weave, you pick your color of yarn, which we have some pre-cut for you, and I would say these are probably about 3 feet long, but you don't have to have them exactly 3 feet. I would say keep them between 2 and 3 feet for each piece because you want to have a good section of color. Take your needle, you thread it. Just put your yarn through there. And you don't double it, you just pull enough of it so there's an end like this, but not all the way to the end. Just leave a little bit of an end. Then you're going to take the opposite end, not the needle end, but the other end, and you can just tie this piece around one of these warp threads. There you go. So that's just where we're going to start. And also if you have an end of that, you can trim that too a little bit. All right, now we're going to start weaving. Take your needle. You put it under, then over, under, over, under. See that? Under this one, over this one, under this one, over this one, under. Pull it. You're just gonna we're going to keep doing that same thing. So, over this one, under, over, under, over, under, pull it. See, I can tell it's gonna go over this one, under this one, over, under, over, under, over. And you just keep doing that, over, under, until you finish, run out of this color. Okay, friends, when you get to almost the end of your piece of yarn, we can just add our next color on. So if you want a lot of one color, you get a longer piece of yarn. If you just want a smaller section of a color, you can get a shorter piece of yarn. But when you get done with one color and you want to add the next, take your needle off. You just tie these to your old color to your new color. And then you can trim those little pieces off. And put your needle back on your new color now. Remember to pull a little piece out. And then you just continue weaving, just like you were before. Over, under, over, under, over, under. Be careful not to let your yarn get stuck out here on the edge. Okay, friends, you just keep going until you run out of this color, and then you tie on your next color. Weaving is a fun skill to learn. Once you learn it, I think you'll enjoy it. It takes a lot of patience and takes some practice, but it's going to be a great skill to know, and someday you might need it to make your own hats or blankets or things like that that you want to weave. So it's a really great skill to learn. I hope you guys had fun learning how to weave, and have a great time making this project. We'll see you soon.